Sunday to you, coming to you live once again from the beautiful island of Maui, Hawaii. We are here with the one and only, the world famous, the infamous. Well, you're not infamous though, right? You're famous. You're famous, right? A lot of people on the island are getting to know Daniel right here. And this is the update video that's been long awaited. And he is going to go into some really cool details about the real story, the urban legend. But before we go there, real quick, we're just going to give you a quick synopsis, summarization of what's been going on with Daniel, so that you will hopefully share the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, please go to helpdaniel.org, because just like this tent is behind him, right, on the beach, we hope that Daniel doesn't have to permanently camp, but FEMA, he is a fire survivor, in case you are getting caught up here. Now in his home, but he's not. Instead, he's in the FEMA house, and we're trying to get up to $40,000 in sustenance. We're at about 20K, I think. So we thank you guys ahead of time. Also, another update. I won't steal all of Daniel's thunder, but he's actually going through some radiation treatments right now, and so please say some prayers for him. But we could definitely use some help. But I'm not going to steal the show here today, because today it's all about Daniel, and we're going to start out real quick to answer the promise of the title of the video, which is, Daniel, what's the real story behind Maui Wowi?
Maui Wowi, it's an option that you won't find for your cannabis shop. Any of the names about it were mostly folklore because of what happened when the strain was developed of this cannabis variety, Maui Wowi. They're strained to have characteristics, so they were constantly pinching down the leaves to prevent them from looking like cannabis plants. So the green harvest helicopters and people wouldn't notice their plants as cannabis plants. So they kept pinching off the side leaves, and eventually the strains just began to grow crumpled looking leaves. And these crumply leaves were a characteristic of the way the plant sort of naturally developed, Freudian, whatever. So then as the strain was developed that way, and then it eventually got caught and somehow raided and collected, the strain was survived, yet when the new people who took it over, you know, because sometimes these drugs or cannabis crops or things, they go to a different market once, like, they get raided, they go for sale for somebody else, or however that works. And so then they were regrowing the strain again, and they looked at those plants that grew the weird leaves that were the Maui Wowi, which were the indicator of it being the Maui Wowi. They threw those, they thinned everything back and got rid of all of those because they thought they were damaged or bad genetics, when actually it was the good genetics. So now Maui Wowi is gone.
So what made it so famous, man? What got it to be such a infamous thing in the subculture of stoners back in the day, man? Like the 80s and 90s, it was legendary, and it still is to this day.
Right, and you get things that, like, you probably heard of, like, Puna butter, which was, you know, well, it's because that, what are the things you expect when you arrive in Hawaii, in Maui?
What do you expect?
A loose, laid-back ambiance. You're gonna expect pineapples, lilikoi, guava, the scent of tropical fruits, plumeria flowers,
and some Maui Wowi in the background,
and you're gonna smell some Maui Wowi.
But not
People
all
expect it.
But not all weed that comes from Maui is Maui Wowi, though, right? No, it's got to be the special strain.
There's so many different varieties. It's just that that's the kind of way that natural selection goes, and the misunderstandings of things sometimes. You lose what you thought. You got rid of something when it was really marked for a way, and you thought it was undesirable.
Yeah.
And you were just working with what you had, thought you just hit the gold mine 777.
And just to be clear, we're not necessarily advocating the usage of Maui Wowi, right? Or are we? I mean, I personally don't use any kind of THC products.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it if you feel like using cannabis.
Right.
I tried cannabis for a while. It was just too much to keep up with the requirements, and then acquiring it with other responsibilities, and between praying for a good attitude and being evicted and having a new way of navigating life and learning another obstacle. Although some of the benefits, I think they helped. It just was expensive, it was difficult to attain, it was complicated. So it ended up being not really worth all the hassle. So, but I don't mind, I've used it through life on many different levels. Therapeutically, medicinally, artistically, creatively, but
And recreationally.
on all capacities. But I don't necessarily think it's required.
Yeah.
I don't mind if I just, there again, I just know you come to Hawaii, you kind of expect that you're going to smell it, you're going to notice it.
So on that
it's
note,
a lot more relaxed.
What can people expect if they come here and they're wanting to get into the weed situation? I mean, what was your experience?
High prices, right?
In terms of like enforcement, is it something you're going to get in trouble for? Or is it pretty widely accepted, easy to get? I mean, what can you tell people that are maybe listening to this that are interested in experiencing that aspect of Hawaiian culture?
Well, there's going to be a variety, sort of a dichotomy, just like a lot of things. There's some that will enforce the law more strictly, some just know how it really is and that it's widely accepted here as normal. But there's a difference in the way it is today than it was 10 years ago and 20 years ago. The guy that's running the dispensaries and in charge of it all here, he was the guy that was arresting everybody before that. So he's making money on both sides. God bless you. Just as long as you don't expect to come over here and rearrange the way it works, and you're willing to somewhat get in the line of the things and work within the way that it actually is here, instead of knowing how you can make it better or how you're going to take over or something like this, you're going to probably be fine. Any way you want to go about it. You don't have to use it. You don't need to know about it, or you can seek it out. And you know, you got to be careful with people, and sometimes somebody will take advantage. They won't give you the real product too. There's a lot of different frequencies and wavelengths, and just like anywhere else, you know, you just gotta, you might be taking a risk, or you might be wasting your time and energy when you have so much beauty to enjoy. And
yeah, that's kind of the
way
I look at it.
It's like on the list of 10 things, and it's just one of them. So you still have 90% of whatever it is, you know.
My take on the whole situation, just so you know, audience, is I think Maui is amazing. Like, why would we need to add drugs and alcohol to something that is a drug, in my opinion? The sand, the sea, everything. It's just, to me, Maui, that's why we have the Maui fix, right? That's sort of the irony behind that, is it is like a drug and you need your fix, but we don't need to add more chemicals to it. Matter of fact, that to me would take away from the natural beauty and joy that God expects us to be enough, right? To be enough. And the irony of it, in my opinion, is that the more drugs and alcohol you take, the less joy you actually experience. It's diminishing returns, and it's just not, in my opinion, it's worth it. So anyway, thanks for tuning in on that aspect of it. Hopefully that answered your question on the legend of Maui Wowi. Let's get more back to some really important stuff. What's going on in your life, Daniel? Because I know that you have a lot of developments in the last few months, and a lot of people out there want to know what's going on. They especially want to know how they can help. And thank you so much. Huge shout out to so many of you that have sent cards to Daniel, that have come and visited Daniel in person. Do we want to mention the big card you got with a pretty good donation in it the other day? You want to shout her out?
Hey, Bobby.
Aloha, Bobby. Thank you so much. She came all the way to Maui, and I got to meet her, and then she went up and visited Daniel and left him a big envelope, a white envelope with some very generous Benjamins in there. So you're the best. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thanks for the help.
And there will be a link in the description when this gets done posting, helpdaniel.org. He is a fire survivor. If you're new to his story, basically, He lost his sight. He is completely blind. He's not partially blind. As a matter of fact, he doesn't actually even have any eyeballs in his head. So there's not like this, he's not like vision impaired. He is absolutely 100% blind. Didn't happen until you were how old? 40?
I was, well, just before I turned 40, and I turned 40 in the hospital.
Turned 40 in the hospital. And so that was what, 5 years ago? Mm-hmm. So he's new to this disability, and it was supposed to be living on Front Street, and of course the entire place burned down. So he's a fire survivor living in a FEMA house that is under constant threat, and so we're practicing some other camping technique that hopefully we don't have to use if we can get up to enough money in the GoFundMe. Our goal is 40,000. We've raised 20,000, so thank you all so much that have given to help Daniel. That means a lot to him, means a lot to me. Thank you for all the wonderful notes that you have put into the it's a give, send, go, but please go to helpdaniel.org if you can help. That would be fantastic. So on that note, tell us what's going on in your life, man.
Well, I'll be with you, and then you were selectively careful about that. Then we got to link up, and then I'm happy to have known more of her story and personal interaction, and to get to play some music for her and to think about what it is I can make for her grandkids out of coconut leaves. So we're going to try to do that. Then there's other people that I met through the YouTube here of Eric West and the whole West Ohana. I've really enjoyed the connection with a guy named Randy. Hope you can see this, Randy. We hit it off real good. His wife actually nice to me, and then lo and behold, we had great stories and much in common. And there's Lynn Oaks out there, there's Maui Dan, and other regular supporters of the YouTube channel for Eric West. And it's really broadened my horizons. So it gives me a little bit more of a chance to develop a friend network, because a lot of friends come and go out of our lives, and they serve in certain times, and then they're occupied. And as time continues and we're asking ourselves why it is we'd like to be healthy or enjoy abilities and continue life into the future and look into the future and celebrate how it is, the reason we want to remain healthy and functional and reach for improvements in our lives, then sometimes it's whoever's there. And those in the past we remember well and we pray for, that we want for their well-being and pray for our loved ones. But the thing in my life I'm sharing and attempting to train things in my vocal cords and practice making my voice a little more consistent, because I have an issue with that, so I'm learning that. Try to take care of it. And
what's going on with your radiation treatment, man?
Well, it hurts. I'm putting on this lotion that exposes sun damage, and I have a lot more of it to continue through the whole map of my body in different areas where I've gotten a lot of sun and some skin cancer. So I try to find the shade always. It's really important to me. And
as you can see, Daniel's in the shade of this really cool palm tree right here on the edge of the Ka'anapali Beach.
Still here, it's leaning over the water, and this is real sound of water lapping on the shore here. Amazing, authentic. Although we have good speakers these days, Eric, that recreate sound quite well, but this is actually happening. Oh yeah.
Pretty cool, man.
That's the Maui fix. And the sound of your voice with the sound of waves and the Maui fix, I think that's really what that turns people on and gives them the vibe when they're trying to discover why do they continue, what do they need for some relief. And it's that Maui fix down by the ocean.
Yeah.
West Maui.
And of course, don't forget to come, not just support Daniel with helpdaniel.org, but also when you come here, come visit him. He loves to interact with the most aloha-infused audience on planet Earth, but also just come to support specifically West Maui. So the live I did yesterday, is the audio better today, by the way? The one I did yesterday at Honolulu Bay, the audio had some issues. Is the audio better? Anyone? Hey. Audio? Check. Audio check. But part of that message yesterday was to please share this video and encourage people to visit. West Maui is taking a hit. Maui's taking a hit. Tourism is down, and yeah, it's pretty gnarly. 5x5, yes, Eric, audio is fine. Oh, thank goodness. See? everything's working out for blind Daniel. You are a blessed man, Daniel. We're supporting you and praying for you. Even if it's $5, $7, whatever it is on the monthly, we like that recurring because you need to eat every month, right? Or is it just bi-monthly?
At least every other day. Probably,
every other day.
like that.
And of course,
I've been practicing a little bit of fasting, letting the body come in touch with those types of survival mechanisms. I think that's important occasionally, dial in the metabolism. I've been working on that a lot. Something you introduced me to with that Rooterai.
Yeah, we got him on the Rooterai.
My toenails are growing normally and things seem to be like starting to unravel as far as what might have been pent up metabolic confusion in my life. I owe a lot of that to you and your strategies and your experimentation with and it's been beneficial.
And thank you, Daniel, for the sourdough. This man has got the best sourdough from Alaska that literally turned my sourdough world around. And now we've made some good sourdough pancakes this morning, had some sourdough bread last night, and yeah, we both have a little pooch now because I think the sourdough mixed with the Rooterai creates a little extra body fat, which is good, right? A little healthy to have a little extra fat, right?
Yeah, especially if you want to get in that ice bath of yours, then it may help you to tolerate that cold.
Yeah, Daniel just got out of the ice bath. We just ice bathed before we came down here, so that was good times, man. Was it cold?
I'm still a little bit cold. It was cold.
So next,
you know that sourdough though, that came from my friend Mark Santoli, who was really instrumental in helping in my life as far as encouraging me, getting me out to church, praise and worship, corporate worship, circling the wagons and introducing me to walking me down to a trail to the local church, staying with me on that regard. And he just passed away, rest in peace, Mark Santoli. But we have the sourdough that he delivered from Alaska. It's a 100-year-old sourdough starter. And I'd like for people to get an opportunity to have some of those if we dry out the flakes. And if you visit and you're into learning sourdough,
we'll give you some sourdough. We'll spread the sourdough joy across the planet. So when people come here, Daniel, one of the things besides smoking some Maui Wowi, just kidding, what are some other things? Because one of the things that Daniel does, it's really cool, is he does this thing called couch surfing, right? Where people come from all over the world, they come stay on his couch, and then he gives them a little tour of the island, gives them some real, local flavor. Not that you're a local, I'm not saying that, right? I would never say that.
I'm a transplant.
Right, transplant, but he knows a lot. He's been here for a long time, but he gives people insights about things to do. So if you had to pick like the top 5 things that they should do when they come here, or if they were to couch surf with you, or if there's any like cute girls that want to come hang out with you, what's the top 5 things that you'd recommend people do when they come here on Maui?
All the mainstays that you may have heard about, I would recommend definitely going to Twin Falls, enjoying some of the trails there. There's an easy sort of 5-minute walk to a splash and a waterfall. There are several others that you can venture out toward and one deeper in. Being with a local when you go there gives you better access to parking and the access to the other falls without hassle. There are options that are fun. The Ma'alaya Ocean Center, although I don't think it's necessary, but if you don't snorkel a lot, you may be claustrophobic or have an aversion to submerging in the water, then you can go to the Ocean Center and see the cowrie shells in their exhibits, the shark tank. They feed different animals and they rescue whale sharks occasionally and other sharks and turtles and things, and they have them in the big tank and you can pay extra and go feed them. They have a really great aquarium here that's attached to the ocean and brings in filtered ocean water to run through their exhibit that's there very near the ocean in Ma'alaya. There's a Maui Tropical Plantation that has a variety of local and other plant vegetation and a farm-like atmosphere with local vendors that just pay their lease so they can distribute their goods and services over there. The Maui Tropical Plantation, it's more of a, I think, a philanthropic idea with those that own it, just basically letting locals have access to be a vendor in a place that has it's sort of a retreat. They have some events there occasionally. So the Maui Tropical Plantation, one place I know you can occasionally see pink bananas growing. Bright pink bananas, baby girl pink bananas. Eric, have you ever tasted those pink bananas?
I have not. Are they good?
You know what they taste like? Bananas.
Guavas.
It just tastes like bananas. But so that's one thing. Iao Valley there on the Wailuku side, an old historic town.
Gotta go jump in the stream.
Flowing water, and there's a lookout there. If there's 2 lots in Iao Valley, a lower one and an upper one. In between there used to be a sort of a pipe set up where you could look through the pipe and see across to a arrangement of stones that looks like the bust of JFK. That's where you've heard about it. That's Valley. You might have heard it in the song by the who those guys? The Ka'u Crater Boys.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
On the West Maui Mountains, see the bust of JFK. On the West Maui Mountains. That song, Ka'u Crater Boys, the Cow Crater Boys have some great songs. So, well, and what else? Visit during whale season and then go to the Ao Channel outside here. You can have whales as close as just several hundred feet from the shoreline, with protecting their babies just on the inside from the depths while they're taking a rest to learn to breathe and splash and swim and play. But there's also Haleakala Crater, home to Silver Sword.
Is it better to do it at sunrise or sunset?
I go for the sunset there.
Yeah.
You know, you take your time getting up there. You got the light. You can see jumping off the mountain with a hang glider. But you get to the top there, the sun goes down. You can enjoy it as it's happening. When you go in the morning for the sunrise, first of all, you need a reservation these days, and it's a little trickier. And it's cold and dark, and you don't know when it's going to happen. You're waiting and waiting, and I never enjoyed that as much as I always did the sunsets. And on a clear day, you can see right over the West Maui Mountains to Lanai and Molokai, which are here for us to view now, I'm sure. But so that's one, the endemic plant species, the silver sword, which those that saw it, they noticed it reflecting leaves. They live about 45 years before they grow a spear that comes out and has their flower, and then the plant dies. But it's found here endemically only on Maui's high Haleakala peak that's 10,200 feet, and that's the third highest peak in Hawaii. Then also on the big island of Hawaii, the Hawaii Island, they have two other high elevation peaks, and the silver sword, I do believe, is found on those. But here on Maui, you have the road to Hana.
Road to Hana, yes or no? Go or no go?
Go do it.
Go do it.
Get some coconut candy along the way, some coconut Glens ice cream.
If you had to pick 3 things to do on the road to Hana, what were your top 3 things to
Stop and get coconut Glens ice cream.
And where's that at? Where's that at?
It's along the way. You'll see several like food trucks and things along the way. You'll notice Coconut Glens because it has a colored, like decoratively painted and airbrush type little van on the side of the road. They serve the coconut ice cream, but they do at Twin Falls occasionally too. They have Coconut Glens ice cream and coconut candy when you stop at Twin Falls, which has a fruit stand in front along the way. And that's just on the very beginning of the road to Hana. So you can kind of do that in a day trip. I'd recommend Road to Hana. Do it, leave early, and stop at Wainapanapa Beach to the Black Sand Beach and go look out of that cave into the water.
You need reservations there now too, yeah?
Yep, you should call and let them know. But those, I think you can do same day and let them know you're on the way. Just they want to keep track of the number of heads coming in and out, I think is what it was. Because somebody went missing, and I think they were in the pools, which you can't access anymore, in the caves. They used to be able to swim in the brackish water caves there. But yeah, now you have to jump the fence and trespass just because they're not going to let people do it. You have to like do it under your own risk now. But that's the Black Sand Pebble Beach there is nice. It's a small beach. Doesn't take long to really experience it. There's a couple little fruit stands on the way out. But the vistas along the way, the waterfalls along the way, in rain season, rainbow season, whale season, that's coming right up. We're starting to feel it. The weather's shifting a little bit. It's becoming way more pleasant here on Maui. The mood's starting to lighten up. The people are starting to get in the look forward to the holiday season, and the whales are on their way from Alaska. Here they come. So that's top 3 things. There's Haleakala, go see the views. Some people love the drum circle down at the Secret Beach. They don't do it at McKenna anymore, Little Beach, because it was just too much attention near sunset, and they were shutting down the fire spinning. But there's a little bit of something for everybody here on Maui, Eric. You know what I mean? Like the same top three for me may not be for whoever it is,
right.
But I know we have ideas. You want to go see a turtle crawl up on the sand next to you at a beach? I know where that is.
What's the top 3 things people shouldn't do that everyone does and it's kind of overrated and you like, no need?
Do not crawl down in the blowhole. Don't get too close to the blowhole.
Right.
Some of the rocks that are here to climb, you got to be careful because a lot of it's loose.
Yeah, and if the rocks are wet.
And if the monk seal is smiling at you, he's not happy.
Right, monk seals are dangerous.
If they show you their teeth, that's not a smile. But so what not to do? Don't drive rude. Be a polite driver. If driving on the road, when you park at a parking place, park between the lines and be careful and courteous. That's important to the locals here. Don't sit on the top of a picnic table. If you see a picnic park bench or anything like that, only sit on the seat part. If you put your backside on the top part on the table where the food goes, you might get a stern talking to.
You might get one slap.
Because that's just their tradition here. You don't sit on the top of the table like you might think seems natural occasionally. So those are a few things not to do.
And then what can the people doing watching help to make sure that you don't end up in this tent for too long? Anything that they can do?
Well, I don't know. We really do need to, I think, decide how we're going to start replanting the shade and fruit, the premium fruit trees lost in the Lahaina fire. Now I think we're rebuilding, and I think the consult for what's going on to the people that are developing what the historic town of Lahaina would look like, as well as the housing developments. I think we all should be grafting and cloning and planting our high quality fresh mangoes and lychees and other things, and star fruits especially, because the trees are a little easier to maintain than how a mango can get.
Yeah.
And provide for the community, which is enjoyable. And that's another thing we might expect when you visit Maui. You're going to expect that there will be fresh fruit trees around you, like seasonally and year round. So a lot of that probably got lost. I'm really interested in locating a grove of coconut palms I used to manage. And I have a little difficult time arranging it because I don't know the precise address. I just need to go there with someone.
And don't sit under coconut trees that have coconuts on them, right?
Oh yeah, it can fall on you. Even if a small coconut falls because the tree shakes from wind, a small one can make a bad day out of a good one.
So why is your tent set up under a coconut tree that's got coconuts in it, Daniel?
Well, so that, I guess because I want to know exactly, I want to be the closest to it whenever I hear it thud, because it's harder to climb coconuts these days since I'm blind.
We're just kidding. That's not Daniel's tent. We're just joshing you, but we do want to remind this guy on the beach that he's got to be careful. But we are seriously trying to help Daniel from ending up in a camping situation. And if you guys have any suggestions or any resources on Maui, say you have a room, say you have an ohana, say you have like an oceanfront surf shack, right? That would be cool. That you wanted to donate to help blind Daniel. In my humble opinion, someone that is severely handicapped should be at the front of the line, but there's all kinds of people here that have been put in permanent long-term housing, and Daniel has not yet. So maybe that's for a reason. I like to think everything happens for a reason, and maybe there's a better solution out there. So if you or someone you know has a resource on Maui that could help him long-term, that would be fantastic. You just assume when a major nationwide catastrophe happens, like the Lahaina fire, that these things would just automatically be handled. But guess what? They're automatically not handled.
We're made for greater things, Eric. This is what's going on.
Because FEMA and the government are complete, I don't know what the word is, and then, you know, the government...
They're limited bureaucrat type of situation. They have a protocol, and they're learning as they go as well, with a lot of people trying to get to know the ropes at the same time.
I don't think they're learning. I think they know exactly what they're doing, quite frankly.
Well, maybe they do have it figured out, and they're doing what they know they're supposed to do.
They're squandering our resources. They're squandering our tax dollars, and people like you that are handicapped, that suffered at the hands of a fire, should immediately be given the red carpet. Well, instead of you being in fear of losing. I mean, how often does FEMA come over? Let's just be real. How often does FEMA come over to recertify you, to make sure you're doing everything and jumping through every hoop so you can stay in your place?
Monthly.
How often? Monthly.
Yeah.
Okay. And then do you know how long you're for sure going to be in that place?
No.
No.
But my lease is till February.
All right, February, that's fantastic.
February 9th.
And what do you have to do every month to recertify with them? Do you have to prove that you're applying at other places? Is that what you told me?
You have to follow the rules. You have to prove that you have another resource for housing and applications that you're submitting.
So you're actively, as a blind person, submitting applications to
other... I have to have a case manager to help me to do it, and we make our calls. They give me resources. They're helping 62 other clients, though. They're doing all they can, and they're really great. Yeah. They've introduced me to several things. I have a waiting list that I'm waiting for on the Big Island. I'm reaching out to across the state, in order to do my diligence and be willing to find a way to hold my breath through the time that it takes for things to open up and be more available. I do suspect the wait lists of Maui's housing will be affected differently and have a different pace than you might normally anticipate under different circumstances coming up as things are developing. There's a conversation with the old apartments where my apartment burned down before. I really like the new developers, their ideas. There's a little give and take, and
I guess what I have a problem with, and maybe I'm just too, maybe I'm just being a Karen on this one, but I know people that are in long-term, very, very, very cheap housing on Maui, brand new build, and they just recently got their U.S. citizenship, and they are not handicapped. I also know of other people.
Do they have dependents? Those people that have children.
I won't mention any names. I know plenty of people that just moved to Maui right before the fire. Just moved here, like literally like a week before the fire, or 2 weeks. Lost the place that they were quote unquote renting. They were renting it, and now have lived rent free for 2 years and are living in a very cheap place, and they just got to the island. So to me, it doesn't seem fair. Someone that you were here for many, many years, you're handicapped.
And you have to know about it and apply. And sometimes I miss...
You miss stuff because you're handicapped.
I'm a little bit late or something like that.
Right. Well, I guess I just want the audience to know that it ain't no picnic. And just because you have a severe handicap doesn't somehow put you at the front of the line or give you any kind of special treatment. You have to go through all the same stuff these people go through, and yet I feel like someone like you should be prioritized, but you're not, in my opinion. You're marginalized, hence the reason why we have to do private funding, and yet it still stuns me after a year or so of me trying to raise this 40K for you.
You got to apply more than once.
We're still only halfway there, which is just shocking because...
No, we're all the way there. We're here. And it's enough.
No, we're not. I set a goal.
Coming little by little. It all has happened in increments that are. It's okay.
Okay. All right.
Everything is kind of working out. It's not exactly what you want.
I mean, can you just believe how positive this guy is? I mean, he's the most positive guy you'll ever meet.
He's not used to this kind of retardation as far as succeeding at goals, because he makes big moves in his.
We lost the live stream for a moment there. In the comments, could you just let us know that you can hear us?
I went on a rant about
that's actually what happened at Honolulu Bay. I got a call. Frozen. Okay, are we still frozen? Let us know if we come back online.
Did I have a weird look on my face because I was in the middle of talking?
You're live. We're good. We're back. All right, and you can hear us? We're good. All right. Sorry about that.
Thanks.
Anyway, I was just encouraging you guys, if you have another potential solution for Daniel, if you know of somebody on Maui that's got extra space, a beautiful hale, something upcountry, you prefer to be on the west side, of course, anything that's on the beach. And of course, if you can just go to helpdaniel.org and we're not asking for a lot, just something on the monthly recurring would be fantastic to help him. I've set a goal of 40,000. That's probably wouldn't last forever, obviously, but it's a good start, I think. And we just appreciate anything you guys can do to share the message, to share his plight, and to realize that these fire survivors, it ain't no picnic, and what they have to go through bureaucratically is crazy, and there's no fairness. There could be someone that just moved to Maui 2 weeks before the fire. They have no, they have no connections here, no roots, no handicap, yet they've been living rent-free and are in a nice permanent housing that's very cheap right now, where someone like Daniel, not so much. So anyway, anything you can do to help, but I'll let you continue. I think we're gonna end this live here, but you're gonna recite, I think, something for the audience?
Yeah, and I was on a rant about how Eric is potent with all of his movements, from his action potentials, thoughts and ideas in action, and how effective he is. If everyone had that same sort of potency, then they would have higher expectations for their goals they set too, because this guy moves quick and he helps others, and the type of help that he gives me is, it's like the crumbs from his table are like caviar to me. I'm like in total amazement and super blessed to be a part of the West Ohana. So yeah, I've been having this idea.
We're blessed to be a part of your world, man. Trust me, you're a bigger blessing, because you are a true inspiration to people out there. By the way, if any of you people, me included, right, think you're having any kind of a bad day, you think you're having a rough one, you're having a rough go at it, right? Life is treating you hard. Just take a look at what this man's going through. Lost both of his eyeballs at the age of 40 and has had to somehow navigate the world completely blind. That's not normal. Most people that are blind, they lose their eyesight early in life. They're born that way. They've got years to figure it out, and that's not been the case for him. And then on top of it, loses his place to live here on Maui, and now is living in a place, it's okay, but it's not where he wants to be. So again, if you have any...
yeah, do we give up? What do we do? Do we hang our hat up and let ourselves go? Or do
No.
we find the reason to continue moving and improve our health? And why do we want to keep going longer? Why do we want to redevelop a place where we're connected and we have our hearts in? We gotta, it's because we want to know. We want to answer that question.
And just the miracle of you making it back to Maui and what that took is shocking. It's shocking what it took to get you back here.
Wow.
So anyway, we lost the gimbal. See, we got technical issues, but we're gonna make it.
What's the gimbal doing?
The gimbal was making the camera smooth and holding it up, and it's just a beautiful piece of technology.
Okay,
but now
okay.
we're hand holding. It's okay. It's
So
all right.
my
It's all right.
voice has been pretty off. My singing voice isn't that great, but I've had this idea I've been playing with, and it's something that I think those might be able to identify with because it's about days of the week. And it's this sort of concept, and it may not be perfect. I'm not totally married to it, and I'd love to get it into a musical composition, but there's techniques that I'm practicing with it here and there, and I've had a lot of fun with it. And it almost comes across with a little bit of Spanish style classical guitar, but I'll just recite the poem if I could ask for your audience here for a minute. If you, it's more of a playful kind of simple rhyme. Okay, so I call it the Terrible Twos. So here's the Terrible Twos by Blind Daniel. It's mischievous Monday, and here's what I think. On Tuesday, I called in yesterday, wink. Each is unique, 7 days a week, but the present is bleak for poor Tuesday the meek. Friday, Sabado, fiend day, Sunday fun, the mundane of the mun. Wednesday's the hump, Thursday's the bump, and on Friday into the weekend we jump. Wednesday and Thursday and Fry are good friends, knowing they're the beginning of the end. They sat in the sun, intending the pun, pretending that someday Monday could be fun. To make it a fun day, you gotta call in. Good things come in threes, like extended weekends. Then Tuesday's your Monday, a succulent sin. I'm biding my time and counting the days until it feels right. That's when I'll make Tuesday the bad guy again. Aloha.
Aloha. It's good stuff, man. You are amazing. You got some great talent. You can rehearse and recite and play guitar and strum and hum and do all kinds of stuff, man. You're like a literary, living organism of poetry. You're
Well,
like
it's Sunday fun day right now. Tomorrow's Monday, the mundane, and we're in a slump down in the dump.
you're like Bob Dylan meets Willie Nelson.
That's a big compliment. I saw Bob Dylan at the MAC one time.
Did you really?
Yeah.
The MAC, by the way, is the Maui Arts and Cultural Center. It's one of the places here on Maui that
MACC.
we get some nice concerts and some people come and play, and it's a great little venue.
Kalohe Kai was there last week, but I didn't hear about it till the night of it. That would be so cool. I'm glad Kalohe Kai came here.
That's one of the reasons that makes Maui no Ka'oi, is the fact that we're somewhere between Oahu and Big Island and Kauai. We have like the best of all the worlds, right? It's
Small
just
kind everything.
small kind everything, right? And that's why it's the best. And that's why, you know, when things go sideways, like they did during COVID and the fire, and now the lobotomized individuals at the government trying to ruin our economy and our real estate market, creates nothing but opportunity, right? It's just literally opportunity. So someday when you look back in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years and go, man, I could have made a move to Maui back in 2025 when things were down, when things were tough, and I didn't. Because I'm telling you, I don't think you're ever going to see opportunities like this again. People are kind of giving away the real estate now. So take full advantage of that. If you're ever in the market, I'd love to show you what's happening. And don't look back in time and say, man, I wish I woulda, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Say, yes, sir. And get that Maui piece of paradise now while you can, I mean, there's never been a better time to negotiate as a buyer. I have no idea how I got on the subject of real estate. I guess that's because that's my DNA. It's all I think about.
Well,
Matter
because
of fact,
now we know Kauai, even when we're down in the dumps and in a slump.
even on Sundays, my wife starts talking real estate. I'm like, honey, not today. Right?
Well, and it's not always the same. Here's what I look at it like. The way the West Ohana operates, it's a family affair. The wife the children, they're grown children, they're all unique in their own way. And it's an eclectic group of personalities, and they all have their strong suits. And so the way it is that you operate is the way that a house becomes a home. Because there are properties, there are views and vistas, the ocean, the mountain, the shade trees, the pools, you know, the whole big wish list of what it is that you might find in a property. That doesn't make it a home.
That's right.
And what you do is you invite those in here for things they might like on their wish list. And then the way that West Ohana operates, that brings others into the Ohana where they can develop and make love, make home, maybe even make a little bread.
Let's make aloha.
Gotta make it.
With the sourdough.
Maui oil.
Yeah, we're pretty unique. We're a family business, a true family business. Lisa's licensed, 3 of my boys are licensed. We all do a different thing. That's our specialty and that we love. And that's sort of course, the boys get stuck with a lot of the grunt work, but that's okay. You got to pay your dues. You got to do, you know, that stuff early on. But Lisa's so gifted in her staging, and we're going to have you doing some things in the real estate business too, like we talked about. Remember, you were going to come in and do
for the open house. I'm going to direct traffic.
No, you're going to do the blind.
I'm going to play music in the open house.
You're going to do the blind guy tours.
Blind guy tours.
Yeah, we're going to make these really viral Instagram videos where Daniel tours these houses as a blind guy. It's going to be some good stuff, dude. It's going to be comedy, and they're going to go viral. Like millions of people are going to tune in to watch you tour them through luxury homes, things like falling in the pool. I'm just kidding.
Some people go that way, and then others go that way, and then others, they go this way.
The bottom line is we're having a good time. We're hanging out in paradise. We got toes in the sand literally right now as we speak. We had a drink in our hand earlier. What was it?
It was an athletic, non-alcoholic brew, a sponsor for today's video.
Right.
Now back to your regular scheduled programming.
Along with Maui Wowi and all the guys in the black market. You can thank us later.
But I don't like beer and I don't drink alcohol. But then Eric has had a non-alcoholic beer that he's told me about lately. And yesterday, my voice was feeling low. I had a few diversions and changes of plans. Had to rely on calling backup to help rescue me with an idea from a place I was in the wrong location and in the sun. Well, soothing myself with a little relax on his couch, and he was coming back from the gym. It was all starting to settle down. I had a sip of his drink whenever he got home to taste it, and I was like, that doesn't taste like beer. That athletic brew has a sort of like honey, sort of fruitiness to it.
Amazing.
The aftertaste is a little like beer, and I used to drink beer with alcohol in it, but
yeah, alcohol is overrated, man. Like kids don't even drink that much anymore. Alcohol, it's a nightmare. It's poison for the body and just doesn't, you know, you can have a non-alcoholic beer in the middle of the day and then you feel great. Let's go to the gym. Let's go for a surf. Let's go for a run. Let's go for an ice bath. Let's go for a sauna. You don't have that drained feeling that alcohol does, because alcohol, now your body has to convert it, because alcohol is basically poison. It has to go through this huge chemical cascade chain reaction that leaves you kind of feeling not great. And the whole idea of life, right, is to feel good. We want to feel good, right? We want to feel good.
Well, I wonder what, with the sound of the waves here and the breeze, and it feels like we just got the temperature just dropped maybe 2 degrees.
Yeah, it's getting more epic by the second.
I mean, and there's like a certain sort of like creaminess to the air right now.
Right, and we know a swell is coming.
Ooh, it's
so in the back of our mind, you just get like a little smile in your brain, because you're like, waves are coming. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Look at the wave forecast.
Oh, yeah.
See, while everyone else is dreading winter, what are we doing? We are anticipating the next green wall we get to ride. And even Daniel, man, he went out there. We were talking surfboards this morning. He went out there on a foam top. He caught some waves. We're going to get him back in the water this year as well on a real surfboard.
That was down there when I went with your son, Hunter, and you. They guided me side by side the whole time carefully, and away from where the waves were happening, just on the inside on a small place, and talked me right into some waves. What an amazing experience. But I would like to go back for a moment, if everybody's with us here, about the alcohol, and to play devil's advocate in a way, because you know how not everything's always bad or always good. It just has its isness, the quality about it. When might the alcohol actually not be a toxin? Could it be like, say you are in the desert and you're
if you're my
famished.
wife, Lisa.
Well, if you're famished and you get rescued after not having any food or drink for 3 or 4 or 5 days,
right?
You know, or like I'm imagining like the Saint Bernard with the hot toddy on his collar, and he finds somebody out in the wilderness and he has that warm with a little bit of alcohol. What if like when your liver is totally depleted and your body is like a raisin, and you've been in an extreme situation? that what if that replenishes the liver, even though it would normally be toxic under normal conditions?
Yeah, no.
I'm just wanting to throw that
I
out
mean,
there.
you could almost say it like zip lining. When you go zip lining one time when you're on vacation here, it's super fun. But it's just imagine you zip lined every day. Like, I gotta get up, I gotta hit the zip line again. Oh, we gotta go to the zip line. Oh,
Well, that's adrenaline addiction.
Yeah, but you
That's
get my
addiction.
point, right? Every once in a while, if
Yes,
you do
but I
something.
think that's addiction rather than a
But
nutrient
imagine
deficiency.
how much the zip line would just get kind of old. It's like here you're just on the treadmill. But so alcohol, I'm with you. Every once in a while, have a glass of wine. Every once in a while, have a little sake with your sushi. But I think if it becomes a
That's
habit,
different. That's
if it
dying.
becomes like a crutch, if it becomes something that every day at the exact same time you have to have, otherwise you can't operate emotionally or psychologically, or you turn into a different person. That to me is, and that used to be me, right? If every night when the sun went down, I was like, well, this is when I start drinking right now. And if I didn't, I would start to feel anxious. I'm like, hey, get a little like a tiger. So that to me is like, and I feel so much better every morning when my feet hit the ground and I'm totally sober, got that energy, I feel revived. I remember I used to wake up in the morning and I would just feel horrible. I'd have a headache, my mouth would be dry, I would just be like, oh man, why did I do that again? And then
I'm smiling because I remember those days.
Bro, it's just like, it's torture, bro. I was tortured by alcohol for years. It's like someone was literally whipping me.
But that's still a little bit different than if you're famished and in the desert and dehydrated for days and in a situation where you were starved.
Right.
Kind of look at it like this way. High fructose corn syrup has been demonized and vilified, and rightfully so, because it's included in so many everyday common things. But for what about the endurance athlete that just ran a 200-mile endurance race?
Yeah, the
that
Moab
high
240.
fructose corn syrup might be
Totally.
the appropriate
They
thing
need
for
it,
your liver's
yeah.
reserve.
Matter of fact, that's why those
right
guys
then.
can do all these high endurance athletic
What if it's
events.
appropriate for that little percentage of a
Okay.
time?
So what are you saying, man? You want to go get some Mai Tais right now?
Well, no, not at all. I'm just out there for those that are.
I know you're
they're
giving
not,
a balance.
It's not all bad.
You're giving a balanced approach. I appreciate that, man. I think we're all on our own journey. Somebody out there maybe needed to hear this. Other people are like, shut up, honey, pass the gin
and
and
weaning
tonic.
yourself off of things.
Everyone's
that you
on
think
their
may not,
own path.
If you
but
want
I
to
think,
experiment, taking it down a little bit at a time and titrating down is a good idea.
I mean, I think everybody learns from each other. Right? There's something that someone says that inspires you to make a difference, and that's really cool. And what inspired me, to tell you the truth, was Joe Rogan had some gal on, and he was getting ready to give her a drink, and she's like, I don't drink anymore. He's like, shut up. And she goes, no, I gave it up. And he goes, well, how's that possible? And she mentioned a book called, Easy Way to Quit Drinking by, I can't remember his name right now. But he also wrote a book called Easy Way to Quit Smoking. And she just went off on how good this book was. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy that book. And so I did, and I didn't even get halfway through it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm done. Like, the way he explains alcohol in that book, it gave me permission to quit because I needed to hear some things in there. It's like, it is BS. And I don't know, there's just something in that book that you're going to read that I think will convince you that alcohol is not what it's all cracked up to be. Because I think we as a culture, especially me, I was raised in Germany, my mom and dad both drank, and you just are inundated. After I used to be a banker, you go to meetings, you go to games, you go to, if you didn't drink, you would be like the outcast. And
You had a term for it. It was in the bottle at 9 years old. It was just a normal drink that you drink.
Beer?
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave me beer as a kid. But one of the things it says in the book, which really got me going, this is one of the verses in the book. Not that it's a Bible, but you could almost extract certain verses. Is it Carr? Is his last name Carr, the guy that wrote the book? I don't remember. But he said something like, people that drink want to feel like people that don't drink. In other words, people that don't drink, they're kind of happy, they're kind of good, they just like have this joy about them. There's just some kind of verse like that in there that said, and I was like, you know what, you're right.
I'm Daniel, and I'm a non-alcoholic.
You just quit coffee though, so we're not going there ever. I mean, no, it gonna happen, dude.
I nearly died of a headache from
Espressos
that.
every morning. Just so good. And then you got me on the Farzad's blend. Thanks to your little favorite cafe. A little shout out for Farzad. What's your favorite little
Hey,
speakeasy?
Farzad. It is a speakeasy, the easiest of the speaks, that's for sure. You can say whatever it is under your right as an American, or even somebody visiting America, because the way visitors are even also allowed to speak their mind and they're allowed to say what you want. It's our First Amendment to the Constitution.
And how do they get there? What's it called?
The Java Jazz.
Java Jazz.
Soup Nuts Java Jazz. It's there in the the entry to the Hana area of West Maui,
yeah.
where the lower road goes down. That used to be the main road. Now it's the lower road at the Times or Star supermarket directly across from, currently right where we are here at the Mahana.
We're
and
at
the
Mahana right in front of Hanuakai.
in front of this will be a surf break whenever it picks up really
Rainbows.
big out of the north. They call this place Rainbows. And it gets a wave that's a shallow reef that breaks a little bit shorter waves, but also a little bit different style than the larger point breaks and more common, popular, overcrowded type spots. And when it gets really big, these are the places that are a little bit more tame. It might remind you of some sort of beach break or sandbar break, but the bottom's just a little bit harder.
Well, guys, we're going to sign off here in just a second, but before we do, I just want to show you a couple things, and I'd love your feedback, just real quick, all right? Here we go. We got a comment coming in. This is fun. Yes, very much. So real quick, I want to show you, we've taken the extra steps to bring you what North Ka'anapali Beach looks like right there. There's some of the numbers. So tourism is not dead, right? No matter what Lahaina Strong and Mayor Bisson try to do, it ain't going to work. Also want to show you today's live being brought to you by our Starlink. Is the Starlink better, guys? I've had some feedback lately that the 3G, 4G has been kind of not that great. A little bit. And
wow,
how do we pull off this Starlink? How is it powered? Check it out. We have this little guy right there. Of course, I just covered up the Starlink, so I don't know. It's powered by a Ryobi battery. And as Daniel said, we're going to pick up our trash, don't you worry. This is brought to you by Athletic Brew. Just kidding. None of this is sponsored. Matter of fact, the only thing this is sponsored by would be helpdaniel.org. Daniel, let's just sign it off real quick.
It's sponsored by the HawaiiRealEstate.org.
No, helpdaniel.org. Thank you
West.
guys so much. Seriously, we appreciate it. We're going to break through. It's going to happen for you. I don't know what it is, but there's something that's going to come out of this video. I don't know what it is, but I think it's going to be more than just $7 donations from helpdaniel.org. Because you're a special guy. I believe you deserve the red carpet to be rolled out in every way, shape, or form. Maui is so glad to have you back on its island. And any final thoughts before we sign off and head off to Costco?
Wow, that's a very generous and benevolent outro. Thank you so much for the hospitality and making me part of your channel here and developing my network, communication, and friends. Prayers, salutations, blessings, and aloha from Daniel the Blind Guy. And maybe I'll play a song for you all one day. We can visit a waterfall. If not, just accept my blessing and salutations for your family and loved ones.
All right.
Maui no ka oi.
Maui no ka oi. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Super appreciate it. If you enjoyed this kind of format, I think the palm tree itself, like you had me at palm tree, personally.
Wow.
And if you want Daniel to come back, let us know in the comments. Let us know what your travel plans are. If you could commit to some kind of a travel plan, that would be awesome. Because I think it'll inspire other people. And if you want to hang out on Daniel's couch, is there a way they can find that easily?
Oh, well, perhaps you can find the profile on Couchsurfing. It's an application for those that visit. And if you have transportation, it might be a little bit better. That's part of the lure.
What's the website?
It's called Couchsurfing.
Couchsurfing.com. And what's your profile?
I think it's just my name, or it's in Makawao.
And your name is Daniel?
Daniel.
Is your last name on it too?
Daniel. My name's Daniel Bennett.
Bennett.
But the idea is that I think you can find me in Makawao.
Makawao.
And there should be a picture of me on the profile along with the place. And I generally stay on the couch because I have sometimes weird hours in the night.
Yeah, he keeps his couch. He stays on the couch.
Someone can sleep in the bed.
Keeps the bed open for who's ever couch surfing. So it's kind of a eclectic bohemian kind of paia, kind of gypsy style website,
cottage,
but it's pretty cool. It's a
conveniently
pretty cool concept.
located.
It's actually like free. People stay at people's places for free. But if they do
and it helps me get access to some sort of interaction. I can make a coconut leaf flower for you. Actually, Bobby came over to visit when she was visiting.
Yeah.
Hey, Bobby.
Shout out again, Bobby. Thank you for the beautiful white envelope for Daniel and visiting him, and for everyone that's taken him under their wing. Means a lot. You guys are super amazing, and thanks for being the most aloha infused audience on planet Earth. Good to hear from you in the comments, and of course, at any time, feel free to subscribe to the channel, share the video, and we'll see you guys on the next one. We could probably talk all day long.
Are we going to help Maui Dan find the button?
Maui Dan. Maui Dan. We're going to call him Maui Destin, Florida from now on, because he's going to Destin, Florida instead of Maui this winter.
Who is?
Maui Dan.
No way.
So he's Florida Dan now.
That's where I'm from.
I know.
Unreal.
Isn't that wild?
Well, okay, so things do change.
We're still going to
help.
help.
He'd be bummed out as, I already quit drinking coffee and he wants to have a cup of coffee with me. I just stopped. I don't know.
Thanks,
Hey,
guys. Anything else? Are you pal?
No, let's find the button.
Find the button. Where's the button? Where's the button? Yes,
We're gonna keep doing this.
We'll be back, I promise.